Today, we address a tragedy that has shaken the nation and intensified conversations already long overdue. The killing of Charlie Kirk, his death, and now the release by the FBI of images of a person of interest in the investigation. No one should have to die for their political convictions or presence in public discourse, regardless of what side they stood on.
Nonprofit advocating for conservative politics on school campuses. It was on tour for the organization at the time the shooter fired from a building more than 500 feet away. Now, this event was being hosted at Utah Valley University. That's about 40 miles south of Salt Lake City.
And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to two young children.
The governor of Utah described Kirk's killing as a political assassination.
Charlie Kirk was a prominent conservative activist, co-founder and CEO of Turning Point USA. He was known for his campus activism, his online presence, and as a polarizing figure, admired by many on the right, heavily critiqued by many on the left. But regardless of one's view of his politics, his life mattered. On September 10, 2025, Kirk was speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, as part of his American Comeback Tour and a Prove Me Wrong event. About 3,000 people were in attendance. While taking questions, reportedly about mass shootings involving transgender people, he was struck by a single shot in the neck, thought to have been fired from a rooftop. After the shot, he was rushed into the hospital. Play this clip. Law enforcement recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle believed to be used in the shooting. Two individuals were initially detained but released after investigators determined they had no connection. Officials have called the act a political assassination. The suspect is still at large. The FBI released photos of a person of interest, grainy surveillance images showing someone in dark clothing, sunglasses, hat, asking the public to help identify this individual.
We begin with the new image just released by the FBI. It is a person of interest in the assassination of popular conservative activist and Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk. Salt Lake City's FBI posting, "We are asking for the public's help identifying this person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. The number to call, 1-800-CALL-FBI." This latest bit of evidence from investigators who also revealed they've recovered a high-powered rifle near the scene.
The FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis.
The targeted attack unfolded in front of an estimated 3,000 people at Utah Valley University on Wednesday, where Kirk was hosting the first stop of a multi-campus fall semester college tour. About 20 minutes in, he was answering a question about mass shootings when a gunman dressed in black fired from a nearby rooftop, striking him and killing him.
Matthew Dowd, who is a political analyst on MSNBC, made controversial comments after the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. On air, Dowd suggested that Kirk's past divisive rhetoric contributed to an atmosphere in which hateful thoughts lead to hateful words lead to hateful actions. His remarks drew a strong backlash. Many felt he was implying that Kirk was partly to blame for his own death. MSNBC responded by firing him, and I support this.
Christina Coleman is back live with that. Christina.
That's right, Tracy. We're hearing that this political contributor, Matthew Dowd, got fired. And unfortunately, some on the left in the media, they've made some controversial comments following Charlie Kirk's political assassination. Take a listen.
After one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. You can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech.
Yeah, so that comment got him in some pretty big trouble. MSNBC quickly addressed how inappropriate it was, writing, quote, "During our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dowd made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise."
Political violence is corrosive. When someone is killed just for speaking or for being visible in the political realm, it threatens norms of free speech, safety, and mutual respect. The loss is personal for Kirk and his family and followers, but also national. It's a reminder that rhetoric has consequences. Living in an era of polarized politics where public discourse frequently demonizes or dehumanizes the other side, it is naive to think that rhetoric doesn't butter the path for violence. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker also expressed his sympathy to Charlie Kirk's family and supporters, emphasizing that no one should ever face violence for their political beliefs.
Express my sympathy to Charlie Kirk's family and to Charlie Kirk, who obviously has, become a target for somebody. I don't know whether it's political violence because I don't know who did it. I know they seem to have somebody in custody. But I will say that political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. We saw the shootings, the killings in Minnesota. We've seen other political violence occur in other states. And I would just say it's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it. We've seen the January 6th rioters who clearly, have tripped a new era of political violence. And the president, what did he do? He pardoned them. I mean, what kind of signal does that send to people who want to perpetrate political violence? Not a good one.
We must ask, what kinds of speech or political climate make such attacks more possible? Not to blame the victim, but to learn how to strengthen our civic guardrails. An ex-FBI agent on Fox News points to glaring failures in the event's security setup. With thousands in attendance, no full perimeter sweeps, unchecked roofs, and limited law enforcement presence, the stage was, to use his words, wide open. He notes that the shooter apparently picked a rooftop vantage point, something you'd expect advanced planning would have anticipated. The distance was considerable, the shot was deliberate, yet no counter-sniper teams, no rooftop oversight, no effective barriers to prevent such a high-ground threat. From this perspective, how was this allowed? How could an outdoor event of this scale with a well-known public figure go forward without securing critical sightlines and escape routes? Why no roof inspections? Why no more robust security screening?
Well, there's a lot of things that they can be doing. I think primarily and first and foremost is finding as many cameras and footage of this event prior to and after the event to see where the individual came from and where they fled to. But this is an issue that I'm having because if they were able to access a roof, if that is in fact a roof that they were on, how was that allowed to occur? Was that individual an employee at the school? Did they have some kind of special access? Or was a threat assessment just not done and a door, for instance, was left wide open? I think that's something that needs to be asked because that narrows the scope of who could have been up there and who could have taken that shot. They're also going to look at toll records, for instance, whose phones were where at that particular time. And this is information they can get very quickly from the phone companies with subpoenas, and that will tell them through the different triangulation of the different cell towers, it'll tell them who was where, not quite specifically, but pretty close, and how they were moving around that area.
It's a stark reminder that political violence is a danger we all face when divisions are allowed to fester beyond disagreement into hatred. The release of these photos is a step in the process of truth and justice, but it's far from the end. Let us lobby for a politics where disagreement does not mean dehumanization. A politics where words are tools for persuasion, for empathy, for change, not bullets. May we remember that safety for speech is safety for democracy.